fighter jets, mid-air rescues, and the moment that shook the sky. This is Cocoa Beach Airshow.
We arrived in Cocoa Beach on a perfect Florida morning. With a high of just 77 degrees, the gentle ocean breeze and the shade of our umbrella created the ideal setting for the day ahead.
Looking down the shoreline, the Cape Canaveral Lighthouse and the Cape Canaveral Space Force Museum stood as timeless symbols of exploration. Having just witnessed the historic Artemis II mission earlier this month, the setting made this airshow feel like a true celebration of both air and space. We arrived early to claim a good spot, but to our surprise, we found ourselves right at ground zero.
To start the show, something different graced the skies over Cocoa Beach. The Super Decathlon, flown by local pilot Lieutenant Colonel John Black, traded speed for elegance, painting the sky with loops, rolls, and sustained inverted flight. Its patriotic colors and flowing smoke created a breathtaking contrast to the roaring military jets, turning the Atlantic horizon into a canvas of precision and artistry. As the excitement along the shoreline continued, a distant rumble rolled across the sky, deep, steady, and unmistakable.
In service since the early 1960s, the B-52 has become a symbol of endurance and evolution. Capable of carrying immense payloads across vast distances, it remains a cornerstone of U.S. aviation history. Emerging from the horizon, the legendary Boeing B-52 Stratofortress, affectionately known as the Buff or Big Ugly Fat Fellow, made its commanding appearance over Cocoa Beach. With its massive wingspan and unmistakable silhouette, the aircraft glided effortlessly along the coastline. During a dramatic dirty pass, its landing gear and flaps were lowered, giving the crowd a rare and intimate look at this icon of American air power as it moved gracefully past our spot near Laurie Wilson Park. Even more remarkable, this legendary aircraft continues to undergo modernization, ensuring it will fly well into the future, potentially becoming the first military aircraft to serve for an entire century.
Then the mission changed. The 920th Rescue Wing out of Patrick Space Force Base took over, showcasing a precise mid-air refueling as HH-60G Pave Hawk helicopters locked beneath an HC-130J Combat King II aircraft.
Moments later, pararescuemen dropped in, simulating a real-world rescue as if every second mattered. What we were watching wasn't just a performance. It was a glimpse into missions that save lives, from open ocean recoveries to hurricane response. And standing there on the beach, it all felt different. Not just a performance, but a glimpse into lives being saved. If you like this video so far, would you please subscribe?
Then, a flash of red, white, and blue tore across the sky, the F-16 Viper. In an instant, the calm was gone. A thunderous roar hit you in the chest, so powerful for a split second, instinct took over. You knew it was just a show, but your senses weren't so sure. The jet ripped past the shoreline at incredible speed, pulling hard into the sky as vapor clouds formed around its wings. Raw power you could actually see, climbing almost straight up, then snapping back down into tight, aggressive turns. The Viper danced on the edge of physics. Every move felt faster, sharper, closer. Then, just when we thought we'd seen it all, back came John Black, this time in a vintage red biplane.
Climbing high above Cocoa Beach, the old school flyer twisted, rolled, and dove through the sky, leaving a ribbon of white smoke behind like a signature written across the sky of blue. It was a throwback to aviation's early daredevil days, when pilots chased freedom with nothing but wings, nerve, and open sky. And for a few unforgettable moments, the past came roaring back to life.
What a great show! But there was still a feeling in the air.
Many still remember 2021.
Oh no! Look at that plane!
Is he going down?
When a vintage TBM Avenger lost power, glided silently toward the beach, and landed safely in the surf just feet from shore. A moment of danger that turned into pure skill. Some things in life you just have to experience for yourself. You can take the greatest photos of places like the Grand Canyon or Zion, but no picture, no video ever truly captures what it feels like to stand there. That's the Blue Angels. Because this isn't something you just watch, it's something you feel.
The moment they arrive, the sky tightens, the air changes, and then that sound, not just heard, but felt deep in your chest as the ground begins to tremble beneath your feet.
They don't just fly past, they tear through the sky close enough to make you look twice, fast enough to steal your breath. And just when you think you've seen it, they come back even lower, even faster, even closer. It's power, precision, and pure adrenaline.
And no matter how many times you try to capture it, some moments you simply have to be there.
When I was 18, I drove a flatbed lumber truck out to what was then Patrick Air Force Base. Today, they renamed it Patrick Space Force Base. One afternoon, they were running test maneuvers. An F-16 came in low, fast, so fast I never even saw it coming. Just a sudden, violent crack of sound, like the sky itself had split open. I looked up, and there was nothing there. Only a tiny dot in the distance, already gone, came again and again. Each passed just as fast, just as loud, fascinating, thrilling, and just a little unnerving. I remember covering my ears, waiting for it every time. And standing here now, watching the Blue Angels, you get a taste of that same power, their famous sneak pass, a blur of blue and gold ripping past at nearly 700 miles an hour, low, fast, and almost silent until it's too late. It's called the Mach knock because it's almost Mach 1, or the speed of sound. It's controlled, it's safe, but it feels real. And in that split second, all I could think was, if this were the real thing, we wouldn't have had a chance. If this blew you away, wait until you see what's next. YouTube already has it ready for you, right here. Join us now.